It's your daily dose of Donna, and welcome to the show. Today is Tuesday, August 27th. We've officially made it to the last day of my family's summer break. It's been quite a summer, you guys. We got to enjoy so much together, really had so much fun. We went through all of our Love Island, some Big Brother started, and some Scott Peterson, which is heavily on my mind. And I'll get into that in just a moment. Welcome to the show, all old and young dosers. And when I say old, I don't mean old in age. I mean like you've been here from the beginning. Let's just call you OGs. Vintage. You're the OGs, the OG dosers. Welcome to Daily Dose of Donna. I had so many comments from yesterday's show. I really got a lot of feedback on my Scott Peterson thoughts and my Tamara thoughts. We're going to get into so much today because there's a lot of stories. Now, none are, some are breaking stories and really big stories, but it's going to be one of those weeks. I just feel it here on DDOD. Welcome to the show, everyone. Get cozy, get comfy, introduce yourself in the comments section. This is Daily Dose of Donna. For those of you that missed yesterday's admin homework assignment, just some of the important announcements that we have to talk about. Tomorrow, Wednesday, August 28th at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern, and something in the middle, Mountain and Central, we will be having a members only. So join here on YouTube. There is an option to join. If you cannot find it, send me a DM. I have a link that I have to, send to you guys, but it should be easy. A lot of you guys struggle from doing it on your phone. You may have to do it on a desktop. I don't know. Join, and then you can be part of the members only, and we will be able to communicate and interact. And it's just for you guys. So it feels like a nice little safe hang. Also, separately, I am doing a Patreon happy hour for my overdosers. That's a higher tier Friday night, a Shabbat Patreon happy hour. Come on, bring in your Manischewitz, your glass of wine, your coffee, your tea, any of that. Bring it on in and enjoy a nice evening. Get to see people's faces, chat with them all. Okay, homework is done. Homework has officially, the announcements have wrapped up. Let's get into my first thing that I want to talk about, and that is Mr. Scott Peterson. I tried really hard to not watch the Peacock documentary. I said, you know what? I'm not going to do this. I believe he is guilty. I think that most of us believe he is guilty, but at night when I'm about to go to bed, I think to myself, was I fair today? And 99.9% of the time, the answer is no. Donna, you were not fair. You were really one-sided. And I thought to myself yesterday at around 8 p.m. when I had nothing else to watch because there's no good TV on right now other than, a random show here and there. I thought to myself, you know what? I'm going to give Scott Peterson a fair trial. And I'm going to watch the Peacock documentary. And it's a 3-part documentary, and I am halfway through the last part. So I've watched parts 1, 2, and I am almost done with part 3. But I can tell you this. If you guys don't understand kind of the difference between the Netflix and the Peacock documentaries, Netflix is told with one, here's the thing. This is interesting. Okay, documentaries in general, while you think when you watch a documentary, you are watching real life events and it's like the news, right? Like it's telling you the story of what happened. Every documentary out there, whether it's a, music documentary, it is a news documentary, true crime documentary, it could be like a entertainment documentary, a Michael Moore type documentary, even Super Size Me. All of these documentaries, every single one of them are told with a bias. Okay. So we have to remember that when we are watching documentaries. And most times the bias is told from whoever is creating the documentary. There's a production company, producers, creators, and the people interviewed. They are telling a story and they want you to believe a certain story. And so I'm a big fan of being a critical thinker. I don't believe that we should just believe everything that we're seeing and you know, reading online, especially after all this crazy news that came out yesterday about Mark Zuckerberg, censoring all kinds of things. It's really it's really a it's an interesting kind of like you have to be aware that you're watching someone's telling of a story. And what do they always say? There's your side, there's their side, and then there's the truth in the middle. That being said, we have to be our own jury and we have to watch these shows and decide on our own, like, which side do we want to believe? Now, a lot of times, the first thing you watch or the first thing you hear or the first TikTok you see or the first article you read, you're gonna believe that because it was like it's the first thing you saw. And it's very hard sometimes to, like, shift our thinking once we've believed something. But after watching the Netflix documentary, which was definitely told with the story that Scott Peterson is in fact guilty of murdering his wife and his unborn son, Lacey Peterson and Connor, I did watch the Peacock documentary, which is told from the vein of Scott's side. His sister-in-laws, both of them are interviewed throughout the documentary. His sister-in-law became a lawyer. She actually went to law school after Scott Peterson's trial. She is heavily invested in this trial or in the story of Scott Peterson and getting him to, get out of jail, basically out of prison for murdering his wife. She believes that he is innocent. And there's a whole host of people that believe that he's innocent. And I would say that that probably happens in every trial, in every big crime, because there are people out there that are immediately questioning things that they've been told online or read online, conspiracy theorists, people that always think there's more to the story. And then when you have evidence that in fact did come out about people's eyewitness accounts, about certain things that were found and seen that never came up in the trial, it does make you say, "Hmm, things that make you go, right? It does make you question a lot about what is actually going on with, why did the trial not get to see all the things? The prosecution omitted a lot of potential eyewitness accounts of Lacey after her disappearance, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. There was a robbery across the street that happened on the morning of her disappearance. There was multiple, like we said yesterday, multiple neighbors that said, I saw Lacey walk her dog the morning of her disappearance when she was walking towards the park. There was a van that was found with a blood-soaked mattress. There was a watch that was sold to a pawn shop. Okay. So much evidence out there that wasn't taken into account for the trial. And is it possible that this evidence would have exonerated Scott Peterson, would have allowed him to say, like, he's innocent because we found evidence that she was not murdered by him? It's possible. But they didn't have enough evidence. I believe they just had eyewitness accounts. There was a lot of rumors. There was a lot of, I heard this person say, and I think I saw this, that. I believe he didn't get a fair trial for a few reasons. I also believe he's still guilty. That's just me. Okay. I think that, but, and I like the police. Okay. I like the police and I trust the police and I trust detectives. And I like to believe that the people that are in charge of these things are the good people that will actually, you know, protect us, et cetera. But there are corrupt people out there and there are people out there that do have an intention and they have a goal, right? And so there's a world where the detectives and the police department decided right off the bat, like Scott Peterson says, he did it. Like he says, Scott Peterson says in this documentary, because remember, this Peacock documentary is the first time he's ever actually speaking to cameras about the trial since he got arrested. He has not spoken to any news organization. So this is the first time. And he's speaking over the course of 15-minute phone calls that he gets over the course of God knows how many years, months, whatever, with the documentarian. And I believe her name is Shireen. And so you see him in the prison on a phone call, hair looking all different every episode. There, I mean, every time he speaks, he has long hair, he has short hair, he has a hat. I mean, he is a it's just wild to see. But he mentions a couple things, for example, like when he was first showing the detective and the police officer his home on the morning of the missing case, like before he was arrested, like way early on. And he said, they didn't know I was with them or like in earshot. And I heard them say, yeah, he did it. He believes that he was convicted before he even was convicted. Everyone was convinced that he did it. But I do have to say, and now we're experts, right? We're all experts now because we all watch all these things. After watching like the Sherry and Keith Papini documentary, after watching all these other documentaries about husbands whose wives go missing when they are not involved, when they are not responsible for their murder, versus when they are, you can tell a lot about a person's innocence, I think, in those first few days and weeks after this discovery is made. The fact that he not only acted so nonchalant, was making jokes, looking good, he continued to call his girlfriend. He continued to like love bomb on Amber. He wasn't really connecting with Lacey's family. He was changing up Connor's room, the baby's room. He didn't like memorialize it in any way. He was like putting storage in there. And he was, he was definitely not doing what you would think a real true grieving husband and father to be would be. He really didn't. I felt like, oh yeah, he sold her car. He sold the house. Like he really just didn't show any sort of emotional attachment. I know so many people who lose babies, who lose kids and they don't touch their rooms for like years. They won't even like wash the sheets. I remember seeing awful, awful stories about what happened after, um, oh my gosh, please tell me that I'm not gonna forget that horrible, horrible name of the school that the kindergarten, school shooting. Oh my gosh, now I can't remember with an S, something like that. So one of you guys will tell me. And I remember seeing documentaries about people that didn't change their kids' rooms. They just couldn't. They couldn't. This is weird. He acted weird. He acted Sandy Hook. Thank you, Beth. Debbie. He acted so incredibly guilty. Like it was so obvious. If you're gonna commit a crime and try to pretend like everything's fine, at least do some research on how to act. You're not a good actor. You're not good enough. And then, not to mention the fact that he changed the color of his hair and he was driving with $10,000 cash and all these different IDs on him when he got arrested. Guys, please, please. Yeah, he was not ready. In my opinion, he was not ready to be with Lacey. He didn't want to be with Lacey. He didn't want to have a kid and he didn't know how to get out of it. And this was his way out. And so in my idea is what the prosecution believes. Now, the Innocence Project does get involved. Why do they get involved? Because there are ways that the trial was not fair. And whenever you have any sort of inconsistencies in trial, innocence projects or anything of the like, they can come in and they can say like, hey, there's always when there's a like when there's a will, there's a way, or when I forget what the wording is, but like there's a chance. They're not saying he's innocent. They're saying there's a chance he's innocent. And that's why he got off death row, because of they found this one small little question. This is crazy. The judge asked one question to a potential juror about how they feel about the death sentence. And the juror said, I don't believe in the death sentence. This is before the trial. And they let the juror go. And they're supposed to ask the juror questions to further go into that story. So that's what happened. And because of that, he got off death row. How they found that is nuts. Oh, it's not the Innocence Project. It's the one in California. Okay, I don't know the difference. I really don't. So I will finish the third part, but I still can't help but think there's something about his attitude that just feels very guilty to me. Also, what's going on with his sister-in-law and him? No, this is alleged. This is absolutely not anything rooted in truth, but she's in love with him, right? Like, we've decided that. It am I nuts for thinking that she is in love with him? She gave up her entire she said, "My kids were grown and I didn't have anything else, and I got so immersed in this trial that I went to law school." Like, her husband, Scott Peterson's brother, is nowhere to be found in interviews in the documentary. Like, no one is interviewed, but the sister-in-law is like, she has like a shrine to Scott Peterson. What's up? There's something going on there. She is in love with Scott Peterson, and that actually says a lot. Okay. I wouldn't be surprised with knowing him. He probably did make her feel like she was, amazing and in love, and she was so beautiful and wonderful. He probably love bombed her to go to law school. God knows what they were talking about on their phone conversations from prison. Where's Scott Peterson's brother? Okay, let's move on. So those are my feelings on Scott Peterson. Thank you so much for indulging me. This was a fun conversation. I would love to hear your thoughts if you were watching the Peacock documentary as well. Before we move on to the other stories, I would like to shout out this week's sponsor of Daily Dose of Donna, and that is LOLAVIE. As you guys know, my hair is looking nice and shiny because I used LOLAVIE this morning. LOLAVIE is Jennifer Aniston's hair care line, which has a series of different products. There's a shampoo, conditioner, a hair treatment mask. You guys, they smell like the spa. The bottles are beautiful. I truly believe that if you purchase one set of the LOLAVIE line and try it out, I think you're going to really like it. Also, you may turn into Jennifer Aniston. You never know. I mean, I'm still trying, but you never know. Let's watch her shower while I tell you a little bit about it. We all understand the torture that we put our hair through with frequent coloring, heat styling, and stress. And so Jennifer Aniston was like, F this. I need to find something that is healthy, that has good ingredients that won't damage my hair, but it will also make it look spa ready. And that's where she came up with LOLAVIE. It's derived from chia seeds. And the technology constructs a new protective cuticle around the hair where damage begins to keep it healthy and looking its best. So think of it as an all-around defense against signs of aging and damage on the hair. And if you want to try it yourself, you get an exclusive 15% off your entire order at lolavie.com. That's LOLAVIE.com. Just use code DANA15. That's DANA 15 at checkout. I mean, if you're taking hair care advice, why listen to anyone besides the women who gave us the Rachel and Daily Dose of Donna? Obviously, go to lolavie.com, LOLAVIE.com. Use code DANA15 for 15% off your entire order. And make sure to tell them that I sent ya. D-Dod. Okay. Let's keep it going. Let's move on through my list of stories. Mariah Carey. Wow, wow, wow. What a sad, sad situation here. Mariah Carey had one of the most tragic stories that I've seen in a long time. It was first listed on People magazine last night. Mariah Carey's mom and sister tragically die on the same day. She says, "My heart is broken." Mariah Carey revealed both mom Patricia and sister Allison both tragically died over this last weekend. She said, "My heart is broken that I've lost my mother this past weekend," Mariah said in a statement. "Sadly, in a tragic turn of events, my sister also lost her life on the same day." Whoa, whoa, whoa. She said, the article says, although the Grammy winner did not reveal either cause of death, but I have another article that I'll tell you about. She was able to spend time with her 87-year-old mother before her passing. She said, "I feel blessed I was able to spend the last week with my mom before she passed. I appreciate everyone's love and support and respect for my privacy during this impossible time." Now, it says this first article says it's unclear when she last saw Allison, who was 63 at the time of her death. Patricia was Mariah's mom. They had Mariah, Allison, and a son, Morgan. And her mom was Patricia. Her mom was a Juilliard-trained opera singer and vocal coach. They had a complex relationship. Mariah once described Patricia as a prickly rope of pride, pain, shame, gratitude, jealousy, admiration, and disappointment. That was their relationship. So it definitely wasn't perfect. She talked about this in her 2020 memoir, The Meaning of Mariah Carey. She says, like many aspects of my life, my journey with my mother has been full of contradictions and competing realities. It's never been only black and white. It's been a whole rainbow of emotions. But she also dedicated that memoir to her mother. Now, another article came out that Allison, her sister, was on hospice care before dying on the same day as her mom. Allison Carey's friend is giving insight into the last days of her life. Dave Baker revealed Monday that the 63-year-old estranged sister of Mariah Carey was on home hospice care for the last 3 weeks due to a problem with her internal organs. Allison was a highly intelligent, warm, and sensitive person despite her tough exterior. He also said, her friend said, I have known her for 9 years, and as her friend and in recent months, her carer, I will miss her greatly. Farewell, Allison. May you now find peace, your tortured soul forever free from earthly pain. He also told the Times that he knew the end was coming since there were signs she couldn't go any further. And yes, she died on the exact same day. I don't believe that that Mariah and Allison were close. I don't believe that they actually spent any time together towards the death. And that's all we know. Yeah, it says Mariah did not have a relationship with either of her siblings at the time of the memoir. And Allison and her brother Morgan later sued Mariah for intentional infliction of emotional distress and defamation over her memoir. Allison detailed her health struggles in this lawsuit, claiming she had started abusing alcohol again after being sober for a long time. She stated in court docs that she was battling spine and digestive disorders, a traumatic brain injury, short-term memory problems, and vision problems after a 2015 home invasion. Listen, I do believe that they had a struggled relationship. I don't believe they were close. I think it sounds to me just from the article that Allison was probably a not very healthy, didn't live a very healthy lifestyle. And it sounds to me like, it was really a random coincidence of events that they died on the same day. But I don't believe Mariah had a relationship with her sister, although I can only imagine how painful that is to know that you lose your sister, even if you weren't close, on the same day as your mom. I can't even imagine. I just can't imagine. So, sending love to Mariah Carey. I like Mariah Carey so much. I really do. Like, Mariah Carey to me she's like frozen in time. Like, she looks the same. She just acts the same. I just find her to be so talented. And what a sad story. Just like, can you even imagine losing two people? It gives me Carrie Fisher and Debbie Reynolds. Sorry, I couldn't remember her name. It's giving me Carrie Fisher and Debbie Reynolds vibes. Do you guys remember how they died within 24 hours of each other? Did I ever tell you guys the story about how I used to hang out at Carrie Fisher's house when I was a kid? Like, all the time? I have to tell you guys the story. Um, I don't know if I did or not, so I don't want to repeat it. But yeah, that was a crazy, like, mother-daughter situation. I do believe that there is some world out there where, like, the higher powers keep those of us together, like, people together, you know? It was just a celebration of life over the weekend, and for my friend's husband, it was awful and sad. And, I was talking to another girlfriend there who lost both her dad and her mom within, like, a year of each other, and the mom was healthy. I mean, as far as we knew, the mom was healthy and everything was okay, but dad died and mom died, and she said, "The way I look at it is my dad, wanted her for himself, and I'm okay with that." So, I don't know. Sad, very, very sad. We could talk about life after death and, like, reincarnation and all the things that you guys believe. I've had a lot of conversations about this since Lance's mom passed. I've definitely, we've all talked about this so much in this house. It's really, really unbelievable. Okay, let's move on to some other stories, huh? Garcelle Beauvais, as you guys know her from Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, reveals that her son Jax is no longer on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills after horrible fan messages. And let me just tell you something. This is getting out of control. I can't tell you how often I'm reading an article or seeing a TikTok or seeing a story about people quitting their jobs, leaving their careers, canceling their accounts, God forbids even something worse because of horrible, mean fan, quote unquote, quote, fan messages. They're not fans at all. It's out of control, especially when they go after the kids. And I'm so lucky that I don't get to see a lot of bad stuff about my own kids, but I know that there was some bad comments about my kids on, a forum once. And when I tell you, I turned red with anger. You don't go after kids. We're not allowed to go after kids anymore, right? But even for adults, like this whole thing, I don't know if you guys are even like aware of the whole Chris Olsen story that was just on TikTok a couple weeks ago, but Chris Olsen, he's like a big TikTok influencer. He works with Megan Trainor. He's like a singer and he does all kinds of things on social media. Had all these old photos and videos kind of revealed and people really went after him in the comments and he was just hysterical. He was like, I can't do this anymore. I can't do this anymore. Literally nasty and mean comments about people online are truthfully, they're so devastating. And you cannot not be affected by it. Like, you just can't. Someone mentioned, okay, this is totally a rant, but you know how I go on these rants about influencers. Okay. Someone said, I saw one like YouTube video being like, oh my God, you have to be joking that you say your job is hard if you're an influencer. The truth is, being an influencer, I'm not speaking for myself, being a public figure in any capacity. So if you have 10,000 followers on Instagram, if you have 10 million followers on Instagram, if you're on a TV show, a podcast, a reality show, or a celebrity, if you're in the public eye in any capacity, it is not normal. And it's not okay to be privy and to watch people tear you down in such a consistent manner to your face, basically, in your comments. Like someone said, I can't believe J-Lo turned off her comments after this whole debacle with Ben Affleck. Thank God she turned off her comments. Like, what world should you want to see all these horrible people reading mean thing or saying mean things to your face? It's so strange. Like, at what point did this just become normal? It's just normal to go and just like tear someone down online. Now, it's one thing if you are on a public, show and you're talking about a reality star, you're talking about your opinions or whatever, but you're putting a face behind it. You're not hiding behind some online personality. You're not just commenting some crap with a private profile. Like, it's a little different. But it's just really, it's gotten out of control. So I'm glad that Jax did this, but basically this article says that Garcelle's teen son Jax decided not to film season 14 of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills after receiving racist comments from social media users in 2022. This was a storyline. You remember this. Right before the season, Jax said to me, Mom, I can't do it anymore. It was too negative for me. I respected that. And so he's not on the season at all. Jax is one of two. Remember, there's twins. I want to say, is the brother Jade? So Jax and Jade. And Jax is the one with the I want to say Jax is the one that had the girlfriend. Am I nuts to think that? He was the target of racist comments in August 2022 while Garcelle was feuding with some of her co-stars. The negative comments included everything from accusing the family of using race for everything to bringing up his older brother Oliver's past issues with addiction. Garcelle further explained that despite filming season 13 of the Bravo show right after being attacked on social media, he then changed his mind about the most recent season, which has been filming for the last couple months. I always leave it up to them every season, she said, referring to Jackson as twin Jade. When that happened with Jax, it blew my mind because nobody deserves it. Nobody's kids deserve it. But I thought, he's doing this because it's me, because of me, and it's our family. And it was his first week of high school. And for him to be subjected to such ugliness and such, it was just horrible. It was horrible. She also gave a special shout out to Teresa from Real Housewives of New Jersey for giving her real support during that time. She reached out to me. She was so cool. I'm getting goosebumps just saying it. Like, she really came out and supported me more so than people in my cast, honestly. Wow. Yeah. So in August 22, when this all went down, the article or the social media statement that they released said, from Jax, well, I'd like to start off by saying I'm still a kid and wish to not be viewed as a fully matured adult because I am not one. It is currently my first week of high school, and instead of enjoying it like most kids at my school, I have to deal with being attacked on social media. Yeah, it's so gross. It's so gross and it's so wrong. And like, if you're one of those people out there, and I'm not trying to like school you in any way, but just like think about like why? Like what? Why? Why? And it's not saying like, oh, I don't agree with your use of da 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 da, or like, I don't really love that you. It's like actually calling them names, um, saying racist words, calling them, gay, or being just homophobic comments or just disgusting comments. Like, it's just gross. Okay. So anyway, Garcelle's making the right move. And she's not even making the move. He's making the right move. So I am very happy to see that he's doing what's right um for his mental health, honestly. So I love that. I love that. Where do we want to go from there? Oh, this is kind of like an interesting segue. Do you guys know who Alix Earle is? I never talk about her. I really don't think I've ever really talked about her, but Alix Earle is a social media star. She is a huge, famous TikToker. She went to the University of Miami and went viral last year or 2 years ago, probably, for posting a lot of like get ready with me's. She's blonde and beautiful. And she also now is incredibly successful. She's part of Alex Cooper's Unwell Network. That's the Spotify Call Her Daddy, now soon to be Sirius XM radio or podcaster. So she has a podcast. She has a huge social media. She's being invited to every single event under the sun. She is doing brand deals. I mean, the girl has got it going on. And because she's very young, meaning she just graduated college, all these things have been now unearthed. Now, this is not the first time this has happened, right? People unearthing old tweets, old Twitter accounts, and everything. So think about this, like an old Twitter account. I mean, I'm surprised that no one goes through and like deletes their old tweets, but if they've said anything that are like is really wrong, especially when you get famous, but I guess there's a world where some people just don't think about it. Alix Earle's old posts have been resurfaced recently, along with so many other people like the Brooke Schofield. I can't remember her name. And this has happened with the girls from the Toast, the Audrey sisters. This has happened in so many places. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Hold on that story because we have some breaking news. Breaking news. Tom Girardi is found guilty on all 4 counts of fraud, just as we all suspected. And I'm so glad he did. All I know is that the talk of shame Kiki just posted on her stories, this picture, Tom Girardi is found guilty on all 4 counts of wire fraud. Jury deliberations began Monday, and the verdict was ready today, Tuesday. Wow. He's accused of running a 10-year Ponzi scheme in which he allegedly took $15 million in settlement funds from 4 of his clients. Guilty on all 4 counts of felony wire fraud. None of us can be that surprised, right? I don't believe any of us can be surprised. Um, I'm very, very glad that that happened, though. Very glad. I'll get more info on it. I'm sure we'll talk about it on tomorrow's show. I have no idea what Erica Girardi is doing about it. All I know is that right now, Erica Jane is. I love how I just called her Erica Girardi. Right now, Erica Jane is co-hosting Two Teas in a Pod with Teddy Mellencamp covering Real Housewives of OC. Did you see that? That like on her show, Alexia was doing it from Miami, and I'm not a fan, so like I couldn't even listen. But now Erica is actually taking over, and they started covering OC. So I wonder if it's going to come up. That is a huge deal. If anything new comes up during this article, I mean during this hour, I will definitely talk about it. But that's all we know, and we'll see what happens from there. Thank you for sharing all the breaking news, you guys. Let's go back to the Alix Earle story. So Alix Earle's old posts have been resurfaced. She used the N-word in these old posts, which is shocking. It is absolutely shocking that even though the year was 2014, we're talking 10 years ago, 2014, I was like a very knowledgeable person. And I believe, even though she was only 13, which is crazy that she has to even like talk about a post that she made when she was 13. Talk about like social media education for your kids. You tell your kids right now, you like Alix Earle? Look at what she's going through because of shit she posted when she was 13. Do not post stupid things online. Don't think those things, but if you're thinking it, definitely do not post it. But she issued an apology after using the N-word and resurfaced posts from when she was 13 years old. She says a couple of weeks ago, screenshots surfaced from my old ask.fm account. Who is ask.fm? Like, what is that? I have no idea. Showing me using a slur in the summer of 2014. I'm taking accountability. I want to make it clear that I was 13 years old and I did not understand the deeply offensive meaning behind that word. That is no excuse for using that word in any context or at any age. That is absolutely not the way I speak or what I stand for. I don't know how you could ever use that word. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Wait. Sorry. Okay, Alix, never use that word. Horrible thing. Don't ever use the N word. We have another breaking news story. Breaking news. Breaking news. Andrew Dominguez with more breaking news. Brittany Cartwright filed divorce from Jax. When I saw this just now in the comments, I thought, OMG, Britney Spears is divorcing Jax. TMZ is reporting. Let's look at it together. Ooh, this is a crazy day. Just when you think it's a slow news day. Okay, let's watch it together. No need to leave. I bring the news to you. Vanderpump, Brittany Cartwright files for divorce from Jax Taylor. She's dropping the curtain on her marriage. She just filed to divorce Jax Taylor. The Vanderpump Rules alum and the Valley star beelined it to court Tuesday and filed divorce documents after 5 years of marriage, according to new legal docs obtained by TMZ. In the docs, Brittany is going with irreconcilable differences as the reason for the split. The estranged couple previously announced their separation in February, and Brittany lists the date as January 24th. 2024. Yeah, that's the day she probably moved out. They have one child together, of course, their 3-year-old son, Cruz, and Brittany's seeking primary legal and physical custody, but is open to visitation. She also wants to block the ability of the court to award spousal support to either of them. Her divorce filing comes after Jax left a treatment center and returned to work on his new Bravo reality show, The Valley. TMZ broke the story. Jax decided he needed inpatient treatment for his mental health issues in the wake of his separation from Brittany. And that is that. Wow. Wow. I am so freaking happy that she did it. Seriously. This is huge for her. I never thought that she would do this. I never thought that Brittany Cartwright would actually file. I thought it was like a big ruse. I thought he was going to come out of treatment and be like, I'm changed, Brittany. And she's going to be like, okay, Jax, let's try one more time. Okay. You know what? She probably saw him and started throwing up again. You know how her stomach like totally bothered her when she was with Jax, and then allegedly when she broke up with him or when she moved out of the house, she like her stomach was fine. She probably saw him and just started immediately vomiting. She's like, I'm allergic to you. I'm allergic to you, my friend. This is really interesting. Michelle says, I think there was some physical altercation between them, which forced him into treatment. Absolutely. Something big. Whether it's physical, I don't know if it's physical because maybe there would have been some sort of like I don't know, charges filed. I think something really bad happened. Either he said something just totally off limits, acted in a way that was outrageous, scared the shit out of her son. Maybe he yelled, screamed, did something really just awful in front of her baby. And once you have a kid, that husband, I mean, in most cases, is not the priority anymore in a lot of cases, right? Like if the husband is an asshole and horrible and abusive and all these things in front of your kids, like goodbye. Goodbye. I would never choose to stay if I had a choice. And I don't believe that Brittany didn't have a choice. I think Brittany makes money. She has family. She has a support system. And luckily, she was able to get out of that marriage. I am so happy this happened, but I do agree that something huge must have happened that made him go to treatment, and something big enough happened that even him going to treatment wasn't enough for her. And I freaking can't wait for the Valley season 2. Bring on Summer House, bring on the Valley season 2, bring on Salam, Sister Lives of Mormon Wives. All of these shows, like I can't get enough. I am like falling over. I am so excited about that. I feel sad that Sonia says, maybe I'm a hopeless romantic, but he finally went for treatment. I'm a little sad. I feel sad in most cases when someone does go to treatment, but have you ever heard of that song? Get out right now. It's the end of you and me. Or is that the song? It's a little too late. That's the song. It was too late. A little too late, Jaxie Poo. I was just talking to someone at my gym who is she's leaving her job because she said, I have to move because I'm breaking up with my boyfriend after 7 years. I said, I'm so sorry. I'm guessing it wasn't your choice, because she looked so sad about it. And she goes, it was my choice because he was a narcissist. He was drinking too much. And she goes, and now that I told him I'm leaving, all of a sudden he's going to the gym. He stopped drinking. He's going to therapy. She goes, good luck to his next partner, but it's not going to be me. You can't go back. You can't erase the past. I do believe that it was a manipulative choice for Jax Taylor to go to treatment, and it was all for a show, because if he really cared, he would have done it. If they wanted to, they would. If they wanted to, they would. And he didn't want to enough unless the cameras were on and he was left with no choice. And just like we said last week, I do believe that he was left with no choice. And that's why this happened. Crazy. Andrew wants to know who gets the beer cheese. And honestly, so do I. And hopefully not us, because Jax's is. There is something about opening a bar and divorcing. That's literally what happens. You can't open up a bar and stay in a relationship, apparently, if you're one of these douchey reality stars. Unreal. Okay, well, very happy for Brittany Cartwright. I mean, now a few stories are going to have to get thrown out here. Did you guys hear that Wendy Williams was spotted for the first time in a long time? To those of you that watch the Wendy Williams documentary, that documentary sits in the corner of my head at all times, 24/7. That horrendously depressing, devastating documentary about Wendy Williams sits in the corner of my head. It like doesn't go away. I can't get it out of my head. It is it was so devastating to watch. But she was spotted for the first time and she seemed upbeat. I don't believe a thing I'm reading because I watched the documentary and I don't think there's anything that you can do with that. And I'm just being really honest. But according to this picture, there's no video, but according to this picture, Wendy Williams was spotted for the first time in more than a year at a New Jersey holistic store. An employee at Bolingo Balance in Newark exclusively told Page Six that she visited the shop about a week ago with her own son, Kevin. You guys remember her son from the documentary. We're told Williams was sharp, upbeat, and aware and very bubbly during the visit. She even had a sit down with Bowman, the owner of the store, to discuss the health products. Here's a picture. I'm not going to pull it up on the computer because it's one of those websites that has crazy ads pop up. Um, Listen, a picture is a picture. I truly, sadly, and unfortunately do not believe that she is totally healthy and fine now. Like, no way. There's no way. How sad. Wait, when I just said like I truly, sadly, and unfortunately, I feel like I was just starting to say vote, to evict Brooklyn. Like it sounded like I was in the confessional at Big Brothers. I unfortunately and sadly vote to evict. Anyway, I really feel for Wendy Williams. That was such a depressing documentary. You guys made me watch it, and you'll forever be hurting because of that. I didn't want to watch it, but I listened to you guys. I listened to my DDOD family. Any other stories that are really interesting? Let's just talk about this one random Dancing with the Stars story that popped up. There's always a Dancing with the Stars drama story, but this is an interesting one because, as you guys know, Maxim Chermovsky, I'm saying it wrong for sure. Max has been on Dancing with the Stars for many, many years. Then he was on The Traitors. Now he's got a bunch of kids. He's got so many, he's got a beautiful wife. Peta, don't want to say it wrong. Bristol Palin. Remember Sarah Palin's daughter, Bristol? Seriously, I'm not joking. I go back in my head sometimes to think about the Sarah Palin days. Do you guys remember those days when she was like, you can see Russia from Alaska, and she was just, she was good old Sarah Palin from Alaska. I can't even do her accent. And it was just like an SNL skit. I go back sometimes in my head of those days and I'm like, things were so easy. Remember when the craziest thing on the ticket was Sarah Palin? Like, we've got such a wild time since then. Bristol Palin, her daughter, was on Dancing with the Stars in 2010, and her partner was Maxim, and she now is on Cheryl Burke's podcast. Cheryl Burke is also a former dancer of Dancing with the Stars, and she has a podcast called Sex, Lies, and Spray Tans. Does she chat GPT that podcast? Like, what can I do a podcast on that's kind of fun, but kind of serious? And they were like, Sex, Lies, and Spray Tans. Anyway, she named Maxim as the person who rolled her eyes at her the most throughout season 11 while appearing on Dancing with the Stars. She says he hated me so much. She says, well, Cheryl Burke said, why? Why would he hate you? And Sarah Palin chalked it up to her controversial season and finishing in third place. Oh, no, her partner was Mark Ballas. Despite receiving low scores from the judges and negative feedback from viewers, she says, probably just because we kept going through. Even though they were doing badly, they kept getting voted through. So she said, I mean, Max was real nice at the beginning, but it was one of those things where as we kept going through, I definitely felt the tension from him. The further we went along, the more it was like, oh gosh, okay. So he has not spoken up and why he was this way, but this feels like a little clickbaity, to be honest, this story, because let me just be honest, on that show, on any sort of competition show, if you're actually an amazing dancer and if you actually work really hard and you're doing really well and you're getting great scores and then you get kicked out because some other just fan favorite who's not a great dancer keeps getting through, it is annoying. It is annoying. So I feel like there's always there's a story out there for, yeah, I would be annoyed too. And maybe he didn't like Sarah Palin. Maybe he was annoyed that Bristol Palin was, being asked to continue and continue and continue when she wasn't the best dancer. Some people take that stuff really seriously. I don't think it's that big of a deal. But Dancing with the Stars, you can tell that the articles are starting to pour out because they're definitely close to announcing their entire cast. Lance starts his side of the production. I think tomorrow is his first day on DWTS. Dancing with the Stars. So I will give you guys all of the goss from that show as it goes on. We do know that one pommel horse Olympian is named as a Dancing with the Star contestant, which is such a strange leak. Like I talked to Lance about it. I was like, really? And he's like, I know, it's kind of weird. Maybe he's great. Maybe he's nice. I don't know him from the Olympics, but that's the leak. Remember last year we had Ariana? I'm like, oh, we got to get someone better. Like, put Brittany Cartwright on there. Would that not be an amazing get if they put Brittany Cartwright on Dancing with the Stars? What would Sheena do? Like, what would she do? What would you do? Put Brittany on Dancing with the Stars. She would look hot. She would like get in shape. She would fall in love with her partner, maybe. He would die. He would die watching her get famous in front of him. Oh my God, it would be so good. Anyway, you guys, I hope you have an amazing, wonderful, gorgeous, incredible, stunning, sexy, and hot rest of your Tuesday. I will not be here tomorrow because I'm going to my kids' first day of school, but I will have my members only. So get yourselves joined and subscribed so we can talk all things Tom Girardi, Brittany Cartwright, and anything else that comes up. Love you guys. See ya soon. Bye.